Good morning, Cog Squad. It's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm on a windy, I didn't think I'd be saying this in the month of June, but cool day here in Alabama. Catherine, my friend over at G&G, reached out to me this morning before I came out to do chores and said, it feels so good outside. And I thought, oh, she must have fell and bumped her head because there's no way it feels good outside. The humidity's been through the roof here, just like every Alabama spring, summer day. But today's different, y'all. So hopefully Jason and I will be able to get some things accomplished despite there not being any rain. That's the kicker. It has been raining and that brings those temperatures up. Anyway, everything's growing, everything's green, grass needs to be cut. Just got the geese fed and I wanted to share something with you guys that is just crazy. So if you remember the killdeer that I showed you that had made the nest over in the fruit orchard, well, I don't think I ever updated the fact on a video her eggs were taken. Something got them, which is not abnormal because of their choice of location. Well, first of all, it's on the ground. Second of all, it's out in the middle of the wide open, so anything could have got them. Well, I don't know if this is the same female or not, but let me show y'all where she chose to nest. So here we are right out in front of where the geese are, and I'm not going to go over to her. I'm just going to zoom in because there she is. I don't think she's sitting yet. I think she's probably laying another egg. She had 2 as of yesterday, so maybe that she did lay the 3rd one and she's sitting, but I still think that she's probably going to have 4 before she starts sitting. But boy, oh boy, do they choose the worst locations. And of course, that's somewhere that we cut grass. And if I had not seen her going over there, of course, Mary Carl knows about it and has documented it, I would have ran her eggs over. So hopefully this hatch will be successful, but I don't have a good feeling about it. Whew, I tell y'all, I just was not expecting it to be cool this morning. I put on my shorts like I have every morning since probably the 2nd week of May, and I really need some pants on. I really do, but we're gonna stick with the shorts because I bet it's gonna heat up in the afternoon. I see her husband, that is the killdeer's husband, or maybe, I don't know, maybe he's sitting right now and she does have the clutch available. They do kind of swap up a little bit. See if I can show y'all where he is. He's kind of skedaddling, and I say he. That was him that took off. So, don't know if that's the same pair or not because we do have a few pair that nest around here. But if you see a bird that's flopping around and acting like it's hurt, she's probably got a nest nearby. Just leave her alone and walk away because that's their crazy behavior. Well, today is a very special day for Jason and myself. We are celebrating 26 years of marriage. We started dating when I was 17 and he was 18, so 33 years altogether we've been, and we know each other pretty well by now, and I just am thankful for every day of it. I'm thankful for this farm, and I'm thankful for you guys. So here's to 26. Uh-oh, I stepped on Biscuit's tail. She was rolling right in front of me, and she said it's time to change the subject. Sorry about that, Biscuit. I am so sorry. Sylvester came to see what the ruckus was about. Let's see if Pocket doesn't let us know that she's in here and needs to be fed. Nope, Pocket's not gonna let us know this morning. I must say, I don't think Jason and I had a clue 26 years ago that we would have a farm today. It has, it's really been a fun adventure, and just never imagined we'd be doing what we're doing today and living each life the way we would want to live it. I mean, that's something to be thankful for in itself. While I'm in here fixing the pig's feed, I wanted to tell y'all that last night Bramble helped me feed like he does. I don't know where he is right now because he's usually helping me. I was preparing the goat feed and Jesse's feed and everybody's feed out there. And I picked him up and I thought, goodness, Bramble, you're a chunk. Well, he looks like he has some Maine Coon in him, which is a large breed of cat. There he is. There's my boy. Yeah. And so he'll just do anything you want him to. I mean, he'll flip upside down. He just loves being loved on no matter what it takes. So I thought, you know what, Bramble, we're fixing to see just how big you are. Because you can't tell. I mean, when I pick him up, he's heavy. So I got my little baby scales that I bought at a thrift store years ago that have came in handy for so many things. Well, I'll show them to you. They're full of dust, but this right here, it's full of dust, but Bramble's standing there and I thought, well, I'll see if these things still have a good battery. And so I pressed on and of course he hopped right up there. 13 pounds, 11 and a half ounces is what Bramble weighs. So he is a big boy, and I did want to know how much he weighed because he's a special one. He really is. Not to say Sylvester and Biscuit are not, but they're not the attention seekers that Bramble is. There's nothing that I can do in this barn that does not involve Bramble at all times. And that can be good and not so good. Of course, I love him, but he can get in my way a little bit sometimes, especially when you're trying to work. Everybody at the barn's taken care of. Peaches, Loretta, goats are let out, cows are fed, and I'm headed over to the chicken coop, and I am excited about this because if you saw Jason's video on the main channel, he surprised me with a fix for the Anconas who were laying eggs on the rafters. And y'all, I had some ideas of how to fix it, but my ideas were nothing like what he did to fix it. His looks much better than what I ever could have done. So I'm glad I didn't just stick a 2x6 up there and call it a day, because first of all, they would have gotten back up there. And second of all, it wouldn't have looked very good. So I'm thinking that there's no way that they can get up there, but I don't want to say that until I actually go in there and make sure. Everybody enjoying some scratch, Cheese and Thomas included. I can hear a lot of clucking going on inside that coop. And I see a few Anconas out here, this being one right there, the black and, well, nope, that's a rooster. I've had my finger on her and she moved. That's one, that's one. So there's probably, let's see, 2, 4, I think I have 6 of them. And I see 4 out here, so that means 2 are inside. Let's go see where those 2 are. It's almost as if you knew I was talking about you. Are you one of those 2? Are you mad? I think you're mad. Y'all, well, I think we might have another problem to fix. So one girl is on the roost. 2 girls are on part of the structural supports, which is a 2x6 going across the middle of the coop. We can't take that down. And I think that may be her new spot to lay an egg, because they obviously can't get up here and they're mad about it. And if she lays up there, there's absolutely no doubt it's coming down. Because unlike the area behind me, there is no ledge on each side, and I would not have thought that she would have attempted to lay up there. Just wait till Jason hears about what he's got to fix next. Now we're going to go ahead and count eggs while those 2 are sitting up there entertaining each other, trying to figure out what spot they're going to lay their egg and whose is going to roll off first is more like it. 5, 7. Let's open this side. Got girls in the box. 9, 11, 13. Let's see here. Jason gathered a little bit later yesterday because he was working on that area and he had to get tools, so I expect there was a lot of eggs yesterday and not a lot today. There's nothing on this side. All right, so 13. That's okay though, because like I said, he got a lot yesterday. All right, girl, just take your time up there, girls, I should say. And I'll come back and check on you and see if your eggs rolled off or if you've tucked it in a way that it won't roll off. Yeah, you're examining the construction and workmanship, trying to see how you can make you a better area up here. I'm not sure. Looking behind you. Oh my gracious, y'all. These girls, read the warning labels. When you know that a chicken is prone to high elevations, or just read the warning labels. That's all I'm gonna say about this. I knew that this was gonna happen. And I just about can bet your bottom dollar, if we get this fixed up, they're gonna try to squeeze themselves up into these cracks. Everything possible to keep from laying in a box. I was about to tell you, you don't do that. You do not stoop to their level. Don't do it. You stay and you go in a box just like you're supposed to. Be an example. Well, this basket of eggs is going home with me. We had breakfast for dinner last night and consumed the last of our farm fresh eggs. So this is perfect for me to take home and keep for our family's use. I've got a couple of things I want to show you on the way back to the house. And then I think that I'm gonna go ahead and make something that I have made one time. Actually, I made it this week. A very simple something that I think you all probably have made in the past, and if you haven't, you ought to give it a try. So we're gonna do that when we get back to the house. In between rainstorms this past weekend, I took advantage of a dry afternoon and I cleaned up the area under the hay feeder for the horses. We keep the hay under this little shed that was initially built for Nugget to stay out of the weather, but it's perfect for our hay cradle to sit up under, and a lot of hay had accumulated on the ground. So I got my tractor over here and I scooped it all up. And y'all, it took a good bit of time because you don't realize how much of that can accumulate on the ground. And I wanted some grass to grow, so I got that cleaned up while the horses are not over here, and went out the gate with it all the way across to the pond area. And the first thing I did was I just hauled it all over here. I took that opportunity to get it all over at the pond because I had a plan to use it, but I knew I was going to run out of time because it had started sprinkling on me and rain was coming in. So got it all over there, and my plan was to get some grass seed out on the dam because we knew we had a lot of rain coming. And I did. I had some Bermuda grass seed, and that will do well in clay soil, which the dam is built out of entirely of clay. So I got the seed spreader out and I spread the seed from one end of the dam to the other. And then I took that old hay and I covered it up. It is, of course, spent old semi-composted hay, which is not going to blow away. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to do a good job keeping the soil moist and those seeds down in heavy rain. So it's been probably, I don't know, 5 days, I would say, since I did this. And after I had it piled up, the next day came back, put the seed down. I put the grapple on the front of the tractor that Lane Shark so graciously gifted us. That grapple is an amazing attachment, I tell you, because my first thought was, I'm gonna have to pick all this stuff up, and it's heavy. That composted, semi-composted, stinky, nasty hay is heavy, and I didn't want to have to pick it up. So the grapple on the front of the tractor, I picked it up scoop by scoop, started at the end. Of course, my mama's house is on this side. She's sitting out there doing like this because she thought I was gonna fall off the side of the dam on the tractor. That's what mamas do, they just worry. My mallards down here, I don't know if y'all can see them from here, but all 5 of them are down here. You can't tell the grown ones from the babies anymore, and they're doing excellent. So gonna walk over and see if any of the grass has started to germinate. So I don't see any green coming up yet, but I'm not giving up hope. I really feel like this is gonna work, and that this composted hay is gonna do the job at keeping it moist when those temperatures do get back to where they were. It was a big job, so I hope it will germinate, and I hope that it will indeed be a sea of grass up here and do what I wanted it to do. I think we have a green heron down here. Something caught my eye, and I thought it was like a starling or something. But look at there. I'm gonna have to get Mary Carl out here because I'm trying to zoom in further and it won't go. I believe that's a green heron, if I'm not mistaken. I need to get a picture of it. Mallards just went right in front of it and it wasn't phased. There it goes. Oh, please let me get a, or is it a kingfisher? Where are you? Right there. What are you? Interesting. Well, I can hardly believe it. I actually identified a bird correctly. I have to get a second opinion on everything. It's flying. It looks like it was going to land on the power line, and that was concerning. But I doubt myself on everything that I see that I don't hear and can't confirm with Merlin. I thought it was a green heron, and indeed it was. So our pond is bringing in wildlife, which is not a bad thing. You know, there's bird flu out there, and of course it can be transmitted from wild birds. It's the way it gets here, and a green heron is a good thing. I am happy to have noticed it. There's no telling what lands down here that we don't see because we're not out here a lot. And the reason we're not out here a lot is because it's not really a pond, it's a mud hole. We're still gonna work on the pond, but we can't do it now because it's raining all the time. So it seems like we're just putting it off, but in reality, it doesn't rain like it has been here in Alabama. If we're gonna pump it out and do it right, which is what we've just about made the decision to do, don't know that it's actually holding in the bottom like would make you think it is. It may be that the level of the water is pushing down once it gets full enough and going out the bottom because there hasn't been a lot of water in it. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And that means draining the entire pond, sealing it with bentonite clay or sodium bentonite. I guess that's an Egyptian feather. I thought it was a green heron. And just doing it all at one time. So you're talking about probably 7 2,000-pound bags of sodium bentonite. And I'll have to go pick that up with a big trailer of some sort, or either make several trips and get that here on site before we start the project. I think Jason's going to reach out to Mr. Greg and see if he won't bring his little mini excavator over and get that spread out for us and done right. Here's the level from where I put my little test down compared to what it is today. So this is the stick that I put down where I thought the water level was at its lowest. Look how far it is to the edge of the water. That didn't take long. It's a big project. It's not something you can do in a day. It's gonna take planning. We want to have the well pipe underground ran over here in order to refill the pond once it's sealed. So that takes the skid steer being put back together, which it is, and trencher put on to run pipe all the way over here. It's not a day job. I think I've misled people to think that it's something I could do myself, and I was hopeful, but that's not the case. The day that I was coming in and out of the gate, I left it open. Nugget walked around the property all fine. The geese never go anywhere. That day, the geese decided to wander. It was fine. I could get them back in, which I did. So last leg, taking hay over there, I had a limb that was getting on my nerves. And it had been on this oak tree, which is over by where the tiny house was, where the camper was when we built our house. And I'd been wanting to saw it with a chainsaw. And I thought, well, it's gonna require getting in the bucket of the tractor, which is not safe. So I'm gonna try it with the bucket and see if I can't just push the limb off. The bucket of my tractor got up next to the tree and pushed it off, which is exactly what I intended on happening. At the same time that the limb fell, something strange happened. And that is that something flew out of the inside of the tree. And I said, what in the world was that? Well, I got a good look at it and I knew it was a duck. But I thought it was not a mallard, because mallards aren't necessarily cavity nesters. But lo and behold, I was wrong. There is a mallard sitting in the hole in this humongous oak tree that I never, ever, ever would have known had that limb not came off and scared her. So I may have more mallards than I bargained for, because there's not one, but two females sitting in the cavity of this tree. And I mean, I thought, well, we've got wood ducks nesting here, and that's fantastic, because wood ducks are cavity nesters that we have here in Alabama. Mallards, 9.9 out of 10 times, are gonna nest on the ground. Not this girl. I guess she figured that she had lost her eggs enough times to get off the ground, get in a tree cavity, and not follow the rules. I have no idea how long she's been sitting there. I have no idea how long she has left, but I'm keeping a watch on it, and she may be successful, she may not. They may make it down to the pond and disappear. I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things, but she's not giving up. I have 3 females here on the property, and she's not a quitter, that's for sure. To run in my mouth, so, and thinking about the green heron and the mallard nesting in the tree, I forgot my eggs that I set down outside of Nugget and the geese pasture to take home. So I need to go back and get those before we go make our little recipe that I was telling y'all about. Look here. I came out to the backyard area to pick some stuff out of our raised bed, and my friend is back here. Right there. That is the bobtail cat. Y'all can see how he creeps around really, really low. He's gotten to be much less scared than what he was initially, because, I mean, you can see he was probably 10 yards from me, but he's still not comfortable coming up to us. Maybe things will change, but so far not causing any problems. I have seen the gray cat that I took to be neutered as well down by the old barn, and he doesn't come up here, which is perfectly fine. But Bobby eats well, and he's gonna hang around, I guess. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Look at this beautiful raised bed that's full of herbs. We've got chives, which we will not be using today. We've got basil, and we've got flat leaf parsley. I'll be using both of those. So brought a colander and a measuring cup because we're gonna need 2 cups of this beautiful herb that has so many health benefits. As I started reading about basil, I realized that I'm not using nearly enough of it. I didn't realize, I mean, I knew that herbs were packed with vitamins and nutrients, but I didn't realize that just a small amount of basil has your daily allowance of vitamin K, 100% of your vitamin K. If basil is something that you like, I encourage you to utilize it somehow in your diet, even if it's not with what we're making today. So, super easy pesto recipe that I made earlier this week and put it on some noodles for Jason and Mary Carl. They thoroughly enjoyed it. I left some out full strength for Jason to try on some bread, and I must say it had a wonderful flavor, and I can't help but share it with you guys because it was so good and so simple. So thanks to Gretchen who shared this particular recipe. Thanks to all of you who shared them, but this particular one had the ingredients that I wanted to use and was super simple. So pesto can be made with a variety of bases. If you don't like basil, well, do something that you do like. I've even seen it with zucchini as a base. But today we're going to use the basil because we have fresh basil and fresh parsley planted. So don't worry about writing the recipe down. We'll get it put on the website so you can find that later as far as the amounts go. But I did want to bring a measuring cup with me so I don't overpick. I don't want to waste any basil. As you guys know, I freeze dried some for later usage, but I don't want to waste any that's fresh. So 2 cups is what we're after of fresh basil that is lightly packed into a cup. Y'all see Bobby did not go very far. He's sitting under the greenhouse watching me. So he pretty much calls this his home. All right, with 2 cups of basil already in the colander, now we want about 1/4 of a cup of parsley. Parsley's just beautiful, as is the basil. And I'm probably gonna need to get me a batch of this freeze-dried as well because I'm going to continue to make this recipe, and I certainly don't want to buy store-bought if I don't have to when we've got this beautiful bed here with the fresh parsley that, well, can be preserved to last a lot longer. With our fresh from the garden ingredients ready, we're going to go back into my kitchen where we can finish up this recipe and have it possibly ready for, this is my thoughts, y'all. Jason and I are not going anywhere for our anniversary. We're actually going to stay home and he's going to grill some hamburgers. So I'm thinking that a hamburger patty with this pesto, y'all may frown, you may think that's nasty sounding, but I'm going to give it a try. A good grilled hamburger patty. My first thought was chicken, but we're having hamburgers with some of that pesto on the top of it. It's going to be delicious. And if it's not, I'm still going to eat it. So while we're having hamburgers tonight, I can put it in the refrigerator and it'll last up to 5 days, sealed up tightly with a little bit of olive oil on the top. It's not going to go to waste, I can assure you. I am toasting some pine nuts. 1/4 of a cup is what I'm using. You don't have to use pine nuts, I don't imagine. I like the flavor that pine nuts add. You don't need to add any oil to your pan. They have no oil in them naturally, so you just want to get them to where you can smell the fragrance of them, nice and toasted. No matter what you're using, I think I would toast them, even if it's pecans or walnuts, just to enhance the flavor a bit. Not going to take but a second. These look perfect. Absolutely smelling just perfect. So we're going to set these aside, take it off the burner so it doesn't continue to cook in this cast iron skillet while we prepare the rest. My parsley and basil is in the blender already. I'm going to add 2 cloves of minced garlic. Also going to add 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese and a tablespoon of butter. Then a 1/2 a cup of olive oil in the blender itself. And a little salt. The pine nuts have had time to cool off, so we're going to add those to the blender as well. Put the lid on and just go to town. Easy as that. Delicious pesto in just a second. You can store it in an airtight container for up to a week. And like I said earlier, put you a little thin layer of olive oil on the top of it just to prevent it from discoloring. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I really don't. Well, we got the pesto made and refrigerated and found out that we have a green heron that likes the pond, a mallard that is nesting in the cavity of a tree, which doesn't normally happen, and conus that like high places. So today's video was filled of weird things happening on the farm, but nonetheless, it's a cool day and I'm about to probably hop on the lawnmower and cut some grass because I can't keep up with it with the rain that's been happening. So whatever you're doing today, I hope you do something that you enjoy. And I also hope that you enjoyed this video. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And until next time, y'all be good.